It's bad? What's bad? I don't see anything bad. It's good. Oh. Good afternoon, folks. This is Ernie with the Trader of Futures here for another Bitcoin analytical moment or two or three where we talk about the efficacy of investing in following, in devoting any kind of mind space to cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, because that's the king of all Bitcoins. We hope a certain death for all the shitcoins out there. If Bitcoin is to survive, if Bitcoin is going to be the one, like the one in the Matrix. Neo was the one. He's the one. Is Bitcoin the one? So far it has been. It's got about a 10-year history now. Chugging along, building up an infrastructure, an ecosystem, followers, I should say devotees, cultist. There. Oh. Green screen problem there. So yesterday I thought I'd put my 2 cents worth in about the recent ascension of Bitcoin from its dregs, from its nearly 2-year ordeal, which I think is still a powerful weight on things. I mean, nothing fundamentally has changed. There has been some more activity in terms of ecosystem, ancillary products, enterprises showing some interest, the SEC hiring a Bitcoin analyst. Don't get your panties in a bunch about that one. They are strictly doing that from an enforcement point of view, not to see whether or not they're going to get all googly-eyed and, wet underpants about Bitcoin anytime soon. They're not. And as long as the SEC is out of the game, so is most institutional players. Now, there are some institutional players, and everybody's got an appetite for risk. And Bitcoin certainly is risky. It is an asset. It is not a substitute currency, in my view, at least not yet. And I don't think it ever can be with the current holdings and the current makeup, the current governance. It's just too unstable. So the point of this video today, let me just get right to the point. The point of this video is that there are some people saying, "Hey, Ernie, what happened to the short every rally thingy doodad? Short every freaking rally until it hurts, until you bleed." I haven't given up on that strategy at all. We devoted ourselves to that strategy for well over a year. Over a year! And boy, did it pay off. It paid off. But for the past 4 or 5 months, things have been kind of, on the down low. Not only from Bitcoin's perspective, but also from my perspective. I have sort of put it aside. I talked about accumulating as we get down to these lower levels. I did a little bit of that. And as I said in the last video, I sold most of it on this move up to buy some toys. To buy toys like quality knives, folding knives like Benchmade. The Benchmade Osborne. An iconic folding knife. I've got some other things, other toys that I bought. But now I'm out of Bitcoin. I'm out of Litecoin. Those are the only two that I would consider investing in at this time. I'm waiting for another pullback. I want to see it roll over. I mean, what is happening now? Let's take a look. Bitcoin dominance appears to be increasing, on the rise. Well, it really hasn't changed since yesterday at 59.5%. Unless, maybe I need to reload this. I would assume that this site would be dynamically reloaded. We shall find. But no, dominance has decreased a bit. Yesterday it was 59.5%. Today it is 57.1%. And it's a combination of altcoins catching up and Bitcoin slowing down. So we can see that on the volume profile, we've hit this volume node, this latent peninsula, this child node just sort of sticking out here. You can see it right there. Right there. And we have significant resistance there. We've traversed this volume well. And the, I mean, this looks like a parabolic move for sure. I wouldn't call this a bubble or a mini bubble. I think it's just over irrational exuberance. We may do another leg up. I would suspect that right around 10,000 would be that psychological level, but I see no real reason why it would do that, and it has to go through so much pain to get there. So more than likely, I think that we'll create a little consolidation area here and then start drifting down. Maybe drift down to the 7,300 area and then drift down again into 6,500 and then just sort of drift and break 6,000 and kind of stay there for a while and then maybe drift some more later on. So do I think right here is a good place to short? I think that you have probably 70-30 odds of being successful on a short here. That would be my guess. My estimation. I haven't done any kind of calculus. There's no formula that I use to figure that out. Nothing like that. Gurdup Singh is asking, Ernie, are you shorting now? No, I'm not shorting now. My pattern of shorting has always been to wait for that initial move, the initial big move, to kind of peter out a bit. Let it kind of fester and kind of start rolling over, and then that's where I like to short. I never short on that first initial bump. Now, when you get exponential moves like this, typically what you're going to see is a pullback and then a reprise, a secondary move. And so I fully expect that. And I said this yesterday. I believe that is the right place to short. Shorting here is just too risky. All Eyes has a target of 80,000. All Eyes is blind. Temple Ray says he hopes Bitcoin goes back down. Chuck A says, last I knew, gold and silver coin are the only currencies in the Constitution. Where did the worthless fiat come from? It came from some people selling out our country, the banksters. That's why Abraham Lincoln was shot. That's why John F. Kennedy was shot. And I'm sure there were a few others in there. Raziel says, alts are pumping again. Looks like people haven't learned their lesson from the bear market. This market deserves new lows, but I'm not sure we'll get it. Well, no one's sure of anything, Raziel. The one constant in this life is change and not knowing what portends our fate. We are still in a bear market, says Adam, and that is absolutely right. There is nothing that has brought us out of this bear market. Is over 10,000 out of this bear market? Yeah, I would say, yeah, over 10,000 and sustaining a move above. Well, actually, I would say sustaining a move above 11,700 would be out of the bear market. Anything short of that is not out of the bear market. Iceman says, well, first we have to go back to Yak. You mentioned on podcast show them are thinking about to realize the Satoshi coin slow. Huh? You got to speak English, man. I missed something. Has someone the keys, please? Oh. I mentioned something about keys and why ETFs wouldn't work. Why you couldn't have a trusted surrogate to hold your Bitcoin, and then you take some kind of proxy for that Bitcoin in the form of an ETF. Why that wouldn't work. Now, this isn't me saying this. This is the Bitcoin Jesus, Andreas Antonopoulos. And you can go back and look at some of his videos on this, and he actually makes a fairly salient argument that not holding the keys, the actual address, the physical address to a wallet with the Bitcoin in it, is not owning Bitcoin. Because with that, you are no longer conferred the rights associated with holding the actual keys or the responsibility. He's a purist, I know. And so a lot of people will say, fuck that. So that's what I meant. I was referring to Andreas Antonopoulos' own explanation why he felt an ETF would... First of all, ETF's not going to happen. Not happening, Captain. It ain't going to happen anytime soon. Long time. Ernie the bear. Ernie is not a bear. You want to know? I mean, look at this. I am all into this NASDAQ! Oh, you can't see it. So I need to push it over here. I need to get rid of my head. Look at that top middle chart. That is the NASDAQ today. Look at that. Look at that. Right underneath that is Google. Apple, not so much. Google, so much. Apple, not so much. NASDAQ! Oh! It gives me a Woody. Nah, it doesn't really. But that is nice. Had a couple of contracts in the NQ. That felt good. That was about a, I don't know, $8,000 gain today. Something like that. Just kept on going. Just kept on going. Here we are. So Iceman was replying to Yak. Makes no sense to me from my understanding of the blockchain. About the keys. I'm not sure how that refers to Yaks, but okay. Further down, All Eyes says, Ernie, please don't discredit this. There's many indicators showing this. Look at the textbook parabola forming on the 1 hour. I don't put anything under 4 hours, anything under a day in Bitcoin means nothing. It's all noise. Glad I scooped up all my bags when almost all crypto YouTubers bashed. Up over 120% on everything. Congratulations. How can this be discredited? I never said it would be discredited. I myself and my partner in Pattern-Cast, we both were saying accumulate down below here. We were saying that. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I was also saying don't accumulate too much. Accumulate more as it went lower, so I didn't get a chance to really get all in. But my partner, he made a big call at 3150 saying, yeah, this is where you got to go. Said it in our trade room. Everybody heard him. Easily verifiable. Bitcoin's tech is flawless. Oh my God. No, it's not. Speed will increase. This global FOMO will not go away this time. There are fundamentally things wrong with the overall architecture of Bitcoin. To say it's flawless is just so off the mark. Get it while it's under 10K. Are you starting to become like a sycophant? Are you a Bitcoin butt boy? Price doesn't have to equal traditional views on markets. Bitcoin's fees are already skyrocketing as we speak. That's right. That's why I took all the money that I had left over after buying toys and put it into a poker site. Because the fees were virtually non-existent. Cost me just $1 to bring over a bunch of money. $1.23, I think it was. And now those fees have risen by an order of magnitude or more. Chuck A says, the Bitcoin cult is comprised of complicated tech lovers and Lambo whore dreaming gamblers. And I would argue that they're both one and the same. They are complicated? No. I would say they are nascent, naive tech lovers and dreaming of Lambos and whores. Or I say hoes. Lambos and hoes. Chris Rock, to all claiming it's going to the moon, answer one question. Answer me this. What if Tether implodes? Well, it's already been imploding, and it is now out that Tether is a fraud. Ethereum, says All Eyes, pumped over 20%, over 600% along from 190. I still don't understand how any of this can be discredited. Who's discrediting it? I mean, are you watching the same show? I came on here to say, oh, Bitcoin's up, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't discrediting it. I was saying it's up. I was surprised. So I took my money off the table. Right? Now I'm waiting for it to go down. Then I'll add more. Up, pump, down, add. Temple Ray, that's 1K Bitcoin or less never happened. Never say never. Where never has, this sort of temporal argument means nothing. Never is a long time. I never said it would happen now. I didn't know when or where it would go. I just said that it's likely to move sideways and bearish for a long time. That occasionally it would pop up. Said this. I don't know how many times I said it. I said it many, 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 many times. Where is the majority volume coming from? USTD. There's not a whole lot of volume, even with this move up. So that's another thing. Andrea07. Will crypto, this is Andrea07 speaking, will crypto market turn out like NASDAQ in 2000s? I even expect something worse, as there isn't any intrinsic value in the market. Maybe just Ethereum and something else will survive. What do you think? Well, there's a lot to be said for the censorship resistance, the pseudo-anonymity, the security. There is something to be said. Whether or not that is a sufficient platform for a cryptocurrency or a currency, or as an asset, or as a platform for other applications, I don't know. If it is, then it would have some intrinsic value. But there is nothing else backing it other than people's idea that it is worth something. Yak says, sorry, my English is not native. Well, I'm sorry for then disparaging your English, which I could not read. You were talking about Satoshi's 1 million coins on the podcast, and you mentioned them. The proper pronoun there is not them, they is the proper pronoun. Are thinking, so you should say, you mentioned they are thinking about releasing it slowly. So not them again. Then it would then refer back to the coins. So they are the people that it would refer back to, and then it would refer back to the coins. So you get your English lesson here. As I know, there are no keys to the wallet. Well, someone has to have keys to it. They have to have them, otherwise they wouldn't be able to transact anything. Crypto ain't going anywhere. I'm not sure what that means. Michael Jones. Anything that goes parabolic will eventually come down. Nothing has changed in tech. The new enthusiasm in crypto. This is like watching an EKG. That's a very interesting analogy. I like that. Adam says, you don't have any gains until you cash out of crypto and the cash is in your bank account. I agree with that. That's why I cashed out, put it in my bank account, and then went and bought shit, and then turned it into something actually physical. Hold on 1 second. I'll show you another thing that I bought. Taking it out of this here. This, my friends, is a carbon fiber pool cue. It's very expensive. $500 for this thing. Has a unilock joint on it. Fits into this little puppy here. Unilock joint means that it only needs like a quarter or half turn, and then it's locked. Unlike the spiral lock. Threaded ones where you have to thread it and you don't have to do that. This is just boom, done. Carbon fiber. Very expensive pool cue. Very expensive shaft. This is what I turned from magic money into worthless fiat into something tangible that I could use. That's how to do it. Now, I'm probably going to go and buy another everyday carry flipper knife. Maybe I'll buy a gun. Maybe that'll be the next thing. Like a Glock 17 or a Glock 19. That sounds good. Turn it into something useful. Chill the volume profile, Ernie. I would like to take the next course from the master. Yes, I would like to offer a course. As a matter of fact, I am going to start talking about that a little bit more, and you'll start seeing adverts about that. And yes, we will be doing a volume profile course, not this weekend, but perhaps next weekend. And I'm putting together kind of an advertisement thing for that so that you'll see that. The Tether FUD, in my opinion, this is all I speaking, is all BS. The people behind Bitfinex are the most OGs in the game. These guys scooped BTC up at under 0.02. They by no means are short any capital and can get that $850 million. If it's a fraud, it's a fraud. If they claim it's one thing and it's not, it's a fraud. If they've committed fraud, they should go to jail or get fined. There's no two ways around that. I don't give a shit how much money they have behind them. If they represent something and misrepresent it and say, you know, especially fiduciary things, it's fraud. Yeah, I mean, all eyes, man. You are really turning into something that nobody's going to like around here. You know? I mean, you got a brown nose or something? Is that a brown nose I see there? Your nose has been up somebody's ass. Temple Ray says, do you think Bitcoin is going to 100K within a couple of years? No, I don't. I don't think it can go to... I don't think it's possible for it to go to... Well, I should not say that. I think it's extremely unlikely for it to reach any kind of heights. The weight of Bitcoin, the weight of mining itself will destroy it. The lack of distributed governance will destroy it. The energy requirements will destroy it. All kinds of infrastructure things will destroy it. And they'll say, well, you can put a side chain on it with a lightweight side chain. That'll take all that away, blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit. Andrea says, more likely to hit 3 digits than 100K. So there you go, Temple Ray. There's your answer. Digital for sure is the future. Well, we already have digital magic money by default, even in the U.S. dollar. By far, most U.S. dollars do not exist in physical form. The news unit, how you doing? Ernie, you figure a turn down in this market from here? What's your price guess on BTC LTC? You must have got in late here. And, I think that there's about a 70-30 chance, 70 going down, 30 going up. If it does go up, we're going to see resistance at around 9,500 and 11,300, I think I said. 10,000 seems to be a psychological level. If it gets above that, maybe, but it would really have to get above 11,300 before we're out of this bear. Chuck A, how you doing? Hey, I can buy coffee with BTC by taking out my phone, opening up an app, pick a crypto, enter any amount I want, send and click, wait for the QR code, let the merchant scan the code. So much easier than swiping a credit card. That does not sound easier. It was I bought my wife a Mother's Day card with Apple Pay. All I had to do was say, hey Siri, open up Apple Pay. And then I just put it near the thing, and then done. Bought. When I said, hey, Siri, Siri woke up. Yeah, that's all I had to do. I just asked Siri to open up Apple Pay. It did. And then I just moved it near the kiosk at Target. And it paid for the thing. That is way easier than what you just said, Chuck A. And I denoted a little bit of sarcasm in there. But aren't all banks in America fraud by standards, Ernie? They all should have went to jail. And no, Ernie, just waking up, that's all. Sorry my opinions differ from yours, still respect you. Well, that's fine. Look. I go with what's working. The world currently is working on the U.S. dollar. And we might all think it's a fraud and that it's worthless fiat, and we love to say that we hate the Fed, and all of that is true. But it's still the standard. It has been for a couple hundred years. it's still going strong, and there's no end in sight, and Bitcoin isn't going to just magically take it over and create nirvana. It's just not going to happen. Maybe in your mind you might have this utopian vision, but that does not make it a reality. Some people say Bitcoin could go to 10 million within 10 years. Yes, there are some people, you wouldn't believe what some people would say. Apple Pay censored and centralized Big Diff. No, Big Diff is that Apple Pay works. Works in, 70% of retailers. Uh-oh. Andrea07 has a message that's held for review. That means he must have said something incendiary, something racist. Let's see. Let's find out what he said. What about John McTrophy? Will his dick be fine? They censored you for saying dick? That's fucked up. What's working, All Eyes says, is a system, is a standard, yes, but a centralized system that people are waking up to, it's a fact. No, the only people that have woken up is this very, 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 very small minority of millennials, and that's pretty much it, for the most part. See, when you live in an echo chamber, that becomes your world. Most people are outside the echo chamber. They don't hear the echoes. They bounce inside the echo chamber. But you think that that's all there is out there, and everyone is becoming woke. It's not true. News Unit is asking again, Ernie, when do you send Bitcoin or LTC or whatever to say to a Trezor wallet? Where does it actually go? It doesn't go anywhere. All a Trezor wallet does is it's a place to store your keys. It's like a notepad to write down your keys in the Trezor wallet. That's all it is. And your keys are the thing that give you access to your Bitcoin, which actually lives out in the distributed network. You never actually have Bitcoin and hold actual physical or even digital Bitcoin, ever. You only hold a key that has access to the wallet or to the network where it resides, where it will show you your current balance, your latest transaction. That's all it is. And a Trezor, that's all that is. Just a secure place to put a notation, a pointer to the Bitcoin network. Andrea wasn't censored on my end. He was censored on my end. I don't know why. I don't have any special shit going on here. Let's see. Manage moderator, participants, toggle timestamp, send feedback. No, I don't have anything. All right, all eyes again. Come on, Ernie. Millennial are the future, though, and the driving force for the next 40 years. That doesn't make them smart or right. They also think that socialism is a good idea, and so that should tell you everything that you need to know. Most millennials, or a good portion of millennials, think that socialism is a good idea. That is fucked. I really feel sorry for them. Censor the news unit because all he does is ban people. I have no problem with that. And he probably bans people because people are being assholes. And when someone is an asshole here, and everybody that is watching me right now, all of you guys, right now, you guys have witnessed me banning trolls on this, and you are happy for it. All right? When people get out of hand and make it a bad experience for everybody else, they're the fuck out of here. And so I do not blame the news unit at all. Everyone has a right to view their opinion, but when they become so disruptive that it makes it impossible for you to carry on your freedom of speech, then you have to ban them. You have to. It is the tool that has been given us, and you use it. Banning somebody isn't, somehow usurping somebody's freedom of speech. Banning somebody is allowing freedom of speech by getting rid of people who are nothing but trolls and rabble-rousers. I have the utmost respect for people who have different opinions. And like all lives, you can have all those opinions you want. And I'm going to argue with you left and right, and you can argue back. But I'm not going to ban you unless you start being a fucking dickhead, like some of the other trolls that have been out there. Then I'll ban you. I'm not saying I'm going to ban you, but I'm just saying that, there's a line where people cross. All right, let's see. News unit, let's see what was... Go ahead, dickhead, censor me. It did, it censored you. That was really weird. It censored it on my side. When you wrote, go ahead, dickhead, censor me, it blocked it out, and I had to click show me, or show it, or unhide it. Okay, the news unit bans people if he doesn't like their handle. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Really. And you're right, news unit, I do have a thick skin. Nothing really bothers me. But I'm more concerned about the other people that are trying to take in what I'm saying. And if they're going to be assholes and they're going to disrupt everybody else, they're going to get the fuck out of here. They play by my rules. This is my house. And it's the same thing for the news unit. When people go to his house, they play by his rules. Period. All right. Hold on a second here. We got some background noise. There we go. Ernie, you should hang out with us like old times sometimes. I'm so busy, man. Casper Koskenverta. Did you see the interview with Kevin O'Leary on Fast Money? No, I don't watch him that often. I've seen him on Shark Tank. On Fast Money, he irks me for whatever reason. Some BTC maniac was there trying to convince him on Bitcoin's strengths with the same old bullshit as always, from halving to future utility. Well, that I would like to have seen his answer to that. So maybe I'll look that up. Thank you for that. Or Larry didn't buy the BS explanation as expected. News unit wants me to go argue with Taco Mananeros and himself again. I might drop by sometime. But like I said, I've been really busy. All Eyes wants to know if I'm still growing the holy herb. Well, let's see here. You see that big black thing? There's one here, and then there's another one way down there. Inside there is the holy herb. Herbalicious. So yes, still growing the herb. Actually, my daughter is the master grower here. I no longer take part in the day-to-day operations of that. I just partake in the fruits of that labor. All right, so here we are. We're 43 minutes into this show. I think we've had enough. Should we short every rally? And that was really the point of this whole show. And I got sidetracked on this goddamn troll stuff. The answer still is, yes, short every rally. But not every rally is the same, right? Some rallies are big, some are small. And for a while there, rallies looked like they were anywhere from, 300 to 400 points, 500 points. This rally is significantly bigger. And I don't get in front of a rising exponential market or any kind of rally until I see some good evidence that it has subsided. And so that's why I have not got in front of this, and that's why I'm here now talking about it, because I feel now at some point in the very near future we have hit that peak and we should now retract. We should then get a secondary push up and then start to fade off. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I believe there is a 70% chance of happening. All right? And as I said, wait for that second push up for your entry point. Wait for it to complete. That's where to short. And Andreo 7, that's how a bubble, that's the anatomy of a bubble. You have that initial move up, a sharp pullback, a secondary move up that's lower than the first, and then come down, and then a series of dead cat bounces. Anyone else use Gemini? What the fuck is with the new Coinbase-like interface? Now it really sucks. Yeah. As any one of these services starts adding more features and more coins, more assets, more of this, more of that, it generally takes a hit in the usability. But I think the big new feature of Coinbase right now is the ability to trade within Coinbase. On what time frame, Ernie? I don't have a time frame. I'm looking at daily. I'm not looking at 4 hour. Bitcoin is a daily thing for me. Everything else, under that starts getting too noisy, to really. And it's one of the reasons why we don't include Bitcoin in Patterncast. I mean, besides the fact that there isn't enough data and none of the exchanges are regulated and they all show different prices. So it's virtually impossible to get a good handle on a price and then do any predictive analytics with our system. All right. So a couple of announcements. One is that Patterncast by the end of this month is going up significantly in price. We will be starting a marketing push after this weekend. You're going to start seeing more and more things. You're going to start seeing interlude stuff, which is going to be very interesting. And also next weekend, not this weekend, the following weekend, I will have a volume profile course. So those are two big announcements. The biggest is the Patterncast. Patterncast, if you buy into it right now, you will lock in the current pricing structure. Once we start bringing in our partners and we start expanding the reach of Patterncast, that's it. The price is going up. It's got to go up. Right now, it's such a bargain. And let me tell you something. With the advent and the introduction of micro futures, this will allow you to take advantage of Patterncast with a very small, relatively small account. I would say under $5,000. You can trade futures, forex, and stocks with our Patterncast signals very comfortably with an account under $5,000, taking advantage of micro contracts and futures and micro forex and, of course, stocks. You can trade any size you want. And that's a good deal, because the performance of Patterncast has been just off the friggin' charts. This last 2 months have been absolutely crazy. So News Unit thinks that the changes in Coinbase, the biggest problem I have with Coinbase is their iPhone edition. I cannot figure out how to buy things from my Coinbase wallet on my iPhone. I mean, that's a piece of shit. Maybe there is a way to do it. I don't know. It's not apparent. Man, look at Google. Look at NASDAQ. Oh, my God. And now it looks like Apple's catching a bid. All is good in the market. All right, folks. I want to thank you very much for hanging out with me. Please go to and hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And click that little bell to get notified. And leave a comment down below afterwards. I'd really appreciate that. You're going to see some new things coming along very soon that I think you're going to like. So I'm going to be doing more of the Bitcoin and volume profile analysis. We'll start looking at it in a smaller time frame. Now, I have to sort of retract all eyes. I will be using 4 hour and maybe even 1 hour to do a multi-time frame analysis. But all of my calls or levels will be on the daily chart. So I'll take that for what it is. So Chris D looks to be like one of those trolls that I'll have to delete. So we'll do that right now. There we go. Jonathan says, hey, Ernie, are you sure we shouldn't be buying the dips now instead of shorting the rallies? I see no reason, no fundamental reason for this going much higher. It could. It really could. And I'll admit that I'm wrong if it does go higher. But I don't see any fundamental reason why it should go higher right now. You need people. And there aren't people piling into Bitcoin right now. Simply not. So now it is time for me to say goodbye. So I'm about to say goodbye, but I have to find the buy button. Wait a minute. Where is the buy button? What the hell's going on here? I can't find the stop button. Hold on. It shouldn't take this long to say goodbye. There we are. There's the live control room. There it is. Stop streaming. Adios, folks. Bye.